The Batman, 2022, coordinated by Matt Reeves, featuring Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz, Paul Dano, Jeffrey Wright, John Turturro, Peter Sarsgaard, Andy Serkis, Colin Farrell, Barry Keoghan, Alex Ferns, Jamie Lawson, Rupert Penry-Jones, Con O'Neill, Vic Waghorn, Dave Simon, Luke Roberts, Stella Stalker, Oscar Novak, and Archie Barnes. In his second year of battling wrongdoing, Batman reveals debasement in Gotham City that associates with his own family while confronting a chronic executioner known as the Riddler. It has been a long time since Batman graced the big screen in his own performance movie, and Chief Matt Reeves squanders no potential open door to put Batman up front in the appropriately named The Batman. The film, drove by Robert Pattinson as Batman, is aggressive in its degree as a person and secret-driven film, jumping into the mind of the Dark Knight as he's stretched to the edge in the early long periods of his wrongdoing battling profession. Whether you love Batman, superhuman movies, or intense thrill rides, The Batman has something for everybody and will leave you needing more. Occurring in Batman's initial years, Bruce Wayne is exclusively centered around his central goal as Gotham's vigilante, to such an extent that his life, significantly less his playboy persona, as Bruce Wayne is non-existent. Batman is Bruce's fixation and justification for being. However, when a chronic executioner starts striking out at Gotham's tip-top and uncovered their debasement and leaves pieces of information explicitly for Batman, he needs to defy his own murkiness before it completely consumes him. Pattinson conveys an incredible presentation as the Dark Knight. He conveys Batman's insight, assurance, aloofness and, in particular, rage very well all through the film. How much inclination he's ready to communicate with only his nonverbal communication and eyes is amazing, particularly since Pattinson invests most of energy in the Batsuit. Beyond a shadow of a doubt. Coming up in the second lead job is Zoe Kravitz as Selina Kyle/Catwoman, who imparts incredible science to Pattinson. Kravitz epitomizes the femme fatale job very well, however shows her own organization as Selina with her baffling foundation and inspirations, catching the person's wannabe status. Like Pattinson, Kravitz does a ton with her nonverbal communication and has almost however many masks as Batman does, giving each a somewhat unique persona as she helps Batman in his examination for her own reasons. Jeffrey Wright's Gordon gets a lot of chance to hit one out of the ballpark as he has a seriously huge supporting job. He and Batman share a nearby organization where they are demonstrated to be valid equivalents and need one another. Andy Serkis isn't in the film very as much as Alfred, yet in spite of his restricted screen time he utilizes each second to give knowledge into Bruce's brain and his own point of view into the case while nailing the dad/child dynamic he and Bruce frequently share. Balancing the cast on the wretched side is Colin Farrell as Oswald Cobblepot/Penguin and John Turturro as Carmine Falcone, the two greatest mobsters in Gotham City. Farrell is close unrecognizable as Penguin for something other than the weighty prosthetics he wears as he encapsulates Penguin's smarmy haughtiness, while Turturro plays a certain and threatening horde supervisor with simply the let out of a grin and delicate, cool voice. In any case, the unparalleled accomplishment for reprobate goes to Paul Dano as the Riddler. Reconsidered as a famous chronic executioner focusing on Gotham's world-class, Dano gives a seriously terrifying presentation as the veiled executioner while showing his knowledge and unrivaled demeanor toward the individuals who are either bad or can't stay aware of his signs. One of the trouble's numerous comic scholars have said in utilizing Riddler is the utilization of questions, whether they're as of now existing ones or manifestations of their own. On that note, the Batman is exceptionally impacted by film noir with its dull climate and accentuation on the secret. This is a lot of an investigator story over a hero experience, one which scrutinizes Batman's abilities as an analyst. The investigator point is a much-needed development and brings a genuinely new thing to the table, and Matt Reeves, with his co-screenwriters Peter Craig and Mattson Tomlin, make an exceptionally fascinating and charming secret for the crowd to settle close by Batman. Selina and Gordon. While Dirty and Grounded isn't by and large new ground for Batman producers to investigate, having proactively done as such with Tim Burton's Batman and Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, Reeves' methodology feels new by the way it seems like a suspenseful thrill ride with its assessments of Batman's mind and poses the inquiry of how much good he truly is accomplishing for Gotham, both as Batman and Bruce Wayne, with defilement so widespread. Batman's improvement comes full circle in a moving and rousing note. Becoming one of the film series' best-person circular segments, while the accentuation is on the analyst tone, the activity all through the film is fantastic. The battles are liquid, clear and frequently ruthless as Batman keeps minimal down in his punches. The activity as well as the abhorrent idea of Riddler's killings push the PG-13 rating to its outright most without going into our domain. There is likewise one of the most outstanding Batmobile arrangements in all of the Batman films, as the more grounded Batmobile is as yet quite an astonishing thing. Greg Fraser's cinematography is only lovely with his symbolism, whether it's Batman and Catwoman remaining on a Gotham housetop absorbing the dusk or Batman strolling into Penguin's club and crushing his hooligans. Joined with Michael Giacchino's delicate and wonderful score, each part of the Batman fires on all chambers. The Batman is a work of art with how the acting, composing, cinema,